running a business isn't that hard once somebody explains it, but nobody ever explained it to me when I first started.
Right.
So, like many of the listeners, like I know you went through the same process. We were all in the grind once. We were all, in the trenches working way too many hours, taking home way too much to way too little money.
Right.
And, you know, all of a sudden something clicks and you think this isn't how it has to be. There's got to be a better way. And I know you went through this as well, and so many people have. And so in my law firm business, I was a great trial lawyer, but I wondered, how do you juggle everything else? And I learned how to run a business like a business. I built my first business plan. I doubled from about 350,000 a year. It was just myself and two other people on my team to a $700,000 business where all of a sudden I had
Oh,
seven people on the team. I reworked my business plan and doubled again to in the next 9 months to 1.4 million. And so I
wow.
grew very fast, and the key to all of that was building systems so that I didn't have to do all the work. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping business owners now, and that's why I'm delighted to be on here to just drop a few nuggets and remind people, create the system so you don't have to be in the grind yourself all the time.
Right. And it's those systems that get you out from working in your business to working on your business.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
that
And so that's the part that people, they mentally know the process, but then when they go to hire somebody, they try to explain it and they hope the person's going to get it the first time. And what brings that clarity is if there's some documented procedure, there's some documented a checklist even, something that's going to share and say, here's how we do these things. Here's how I want it done right. And then they can do it predictably all the time. So, yes, the systems are the key to the growth.
and that's why if anybody's ever had I don't know about you, but if anybody's ever had a corporate job where they've walked in and and the first week or so you have all these manuals you have to go over, and it's just an excruciating time and you wish you didn't have to do it. But then as you get older, especially if you're a business owner, you start to realize that's why that corporate job was a corporate job and not a mom and pop's job, is because of systems like that. So, how did you? So, you said that obviously attorneys, when you become a lawyer, when you don't learn how to run a business. I mean, how did you get to the point where you wanted to be more than just an attorney at a law firm? I mean, were your parents attorneys? Did they, or if they were together, did they run a business?
No, my mother owned and operated a winery in Southern Oregon, and so I grew up around business, never realizing how much she was juggling.
Right.
And got out of law school, got my first job, and found that I loved the courtroom. I was great at it, but became a partner in a law firm, and all of a sudden realized there's a whole lot of management duties, and how do you juggle all this stuff? And I felt like there has to be a better way. Like I was great as a lawyer, but I no one had really broken down this other part for me. And so I started taking some classes. I got some coaches that started training me on how to organize some of this stuff. And after a while, I realized this isn't that hard, and once someone explains it. But
Right.
unfortunately, it's not as open knowledge as I wish it was. So, you know, you build and my biggest, if I could just drop one nugget right now for everyone, is start writing checklists for everything you do. You don't have to wait till you have an
Yeah.
employee. It's going to even streamline your own thinking and reduce the mental energy to have to be like, oh, did I hit everything? Just go ahead and get started, even if you're a solo and by yourself, because the day will come when you want to hire an assistant and you will
Right.
be so grateful that you can hand that stuff off.
Right. And we spoke about this once before. Getting to that point when you hire an assistant, I mean, it's a game changer at that point. I mean, just having somebody, and if there's anybody listening to this right now, and they have this thought that, yeah, well, that's all good and fun, but I can't afford an assistant. You can go. There's tons of places online. You can go Upwork, you know, freelancer.com, and you can get outsource
Yep,
a personal assistant or an
yep,
executive assistant, whatever the case is, and just push off those tasks that don't directly result in money, those things that you're spending time doing. That's the first step, right?
yep.
That's the
That
first
is
step of building a team.
absolutely one of the first steps is get that low level stuff off your plate. You can go with offshore staffing. There's a program I love, Get Staffed Up. They do a great job, and it's the cost is about 18.50 a month for a full-time employee, which ends up being like 12, $13 an hour. But they can be your admin assistant, your marketing assistant, your personal assistant. They can help you with your scheduling, with organizing emails, your calendar, your billing. Like that person will be way profitable for you by the end. But, again, it's also scary as all heck to hire a person, especially when you think about a full-time person. So, again, if you start breaking down what are some of the admin duties, what are some of the billing duties, what are some of the calendaring and client maybe facing items. So you break it down, you realize you do have enough work for somebody, and the price is right where it brings back so that you can focus on those higher and best tasks like you were talking about, Jeremy, and not be doing the low level organizing and
Right.
filing and stuff like that. So
Yeah. The stuff
yes.
that really doesn't make you money right
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
Focus on the growth.
Yep.
That's what you should be focusing on. And I think that's what, and I say this because my father had an issue with this. My father is the antithesis of a solopreneur, right? I mean, this guy couldn't get a job, could not maintain a job, can't take direction from somebody else, but we would always run his own business. It would always be some sort of enterprise, successful or not, but it would always be him. I mean, he might, if he's doing like an odd job, maybe he gets a little helper once in a while, but he, like so many other people, have this idea that if you hire someone else, like someone full time in this
Yep.
scenario, that how much did you say that was?
1850 a month.
That 1850 that's going to that person, that 1850 could be going to you
Yeah.
instead. So you're losing 1850 a month. And the problem is that so many people, as solopreneurs, they see that 1850 as being lost,
Yeah.
that they're just losing it. And that's coming off that, and they're not getting anything in return for that.
This is a pain point that this is actually a mindset issue that a lot of solopreneurs deal with, and it's scary, but you gotta think about the opportunity cost. So if you were able to get 3 hours off your plate to give to somebody else, in those 3 hours, you could spend 2 hours marketing and selling and signing up 2 more clients and take an hour off to take a power nap. I mean, whatever to refresh yourself. So, it's you've got to look at how much more. I mean, those 2 clients could bring in another 4 or $5,000 possibly. It could be, over the long term of that client base. So there's a lot of different opportunities. I actually spoke on national TV to a number of places around the nation about hiring an assistant, and how while initially people think, oh, that's too expensive, I can't afford it, what they realize is I can't afford not to hire one. Like I
Right.
need this person so that I can be the best CEO I can be, so I can really grow and do the things that count. Let somebody else deal with the organizing and filing and all those little things that can be done by a lower paid person that you train to do the job. So,
Right.
yeah.
They're still stuck in the scarcity of their own money at that point, right?